Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. A warm welcome from the KSA and a particular welcome to the students who are taking part in our 2021 kitchen design project. Today, we've asked Gordon Scott from Sonae Arauco to come and chat to us and tell us a little bit about board products and how they are utilized within the kitchen industry and in kitchen design. Gordon, over to you.
Stephanie, thank you very much. And Karen, who's joined us as well, welcome. Good day, ladies and gents. Welcome to this series. And I hope through the presentation that I'm going to show you, there's something to learn. I think it's important because the kitchen is the home of, or the heart of the home. And it's a really important part in anybody's home and lifestyle. So I'm going to just share a couple of things as to what you can find in kitchens, the board products that are used, and different types of products that are used in the kitchen. And then just go through a little bit more about the manufacturing of it as well, which is important to understand. And then on to some trends, etc., that you'll find in the kitchen space. Right, without further ado, I just want to introduce Sonae Arauco. I've got a couple of videos that come through the presentation, but let's start with the first one.
Sonae Arauco is a wood-based alliance between two strong brands. Sonae Industria, a multinational company that produces wood-based panels, founded in 1959 and rooted in the north of Portugal. And Arauco, founded in 1970 in Chile and now spread across 75 countries with the mission of producing and managing renewable forestry resources. Both share the same international growth ambition and long-term business vision. Both believe that everything they do is about people and a better planet. Both dream about a renewable and sustainable future. Sonae Arauco wishes to share its proud industrial soul with the world, making the "Together we take wood further" its true identity. Sonae Arauco's soul and identity is sustained by its vision to create wood-based solutions for a better life and planet. By its mission to offer wood-based products that improve people's lives, and by its three main values: proud industrial soul, based on its wood-based expertise, long-term business vision, and solid growth ambition. Wood-based life improvement, due to the creation of sustainable and renewable solutions to offer fit-for-purpose solutions that improves people's lives. Wood-lasting alliances, due to ethics and transparency, long-lasting partnerships, safety and good citizenship. With over 800 million euros turnover and more than 4 million of cubic meters of production capacity in 2017, Sonae Arauco is one of the largest wood-based panel producers in the world. Its products can be found in 75 countries across the world due to its more than 24 industrial and commercial units spread across 9 countries and 2 continents with circa 3,000 employees. Wood-based panels are the basis of everything Sonae Arauco does. Its products have a growing number of applications, such as furniture for home and office, kitchen and bathroom cabinets, doors, walls paneling, and decorative articles. The main Sonae Arauco's raw and technical products are particle board, medium density fiberboard, and oriented strand board. Additionally, Sonae Arauco combines the characteristics of PB and MDF substrates with different decors and finishes, providing a complete and innovative range of decorative products for interior design projects. Sonae Arauco's decorative products are sold under the brand Innovus in Europe and Novolam in South Africa. Additionally, Ajapan Systems offers sustainable solutions for construction, refurbishments, or extensions of building, which are ideal for roofs, walls, and floors. To efficiently develop Sonae Arauco's business, the company has a sustainable operation model sustained on people, which are the company's biggest priority. Sonae Arauco has implemented work efficiency methodologies, the IOW, improving our work methodology. Health and safety at work, guaranteeing permanent comfort and safety in all Sonae Arauco's activities. Education and communities, and respect for the environment, where Sonae Arauco believes that efficient value chains are able to stimulate investment and the active management of forests. Wood-based panels contribute to the sustainable use of forest resources. To ensure this, the wood used by Sonae Arauco comes from sustainably managed sources, and as such, the company is certified through 2 of the largest forest management and responsibility chain certification systems: the PEFC, Program for the Endorsement of Forest Certification Schemes, and the FSC, Forest Stewardship Council. Also, all Sonae Arauco factories are certified for environmental, quality and health and safety at work management, and most of them are also certified for energy management. All of this had turned Sonae Arauco believe in reality, enabling the company to take wood further.
Right, so that video almost says it all. It's really cool to see something completely different. But Sonae Arauco, obviously a significant player in the global wood-based panel industry, and locally we've got a fully automated and highly engineered manufacturing plant, which is in White River. If you're off to the Kruger Park, you'll see it on the left-hand side, and in Mpumalanga. As a wood-based panel producer, the products are basis of everything as far as flexibility, sustainability, and functional alternatives to real wood. So everything that you see which could be made out of wood is basically you can have a substitute using our decorative products. Efficient use of raw materials. It's got a greater dimensional flexibility. You know, the particle board and medium density fiber board doesn't move and crack. So it is a great alternative for solutions in your lives. What makes up a kitchen? And I'm going to go through a couple of things that you'll find in the kitchen before we touch on the wood-based panels, etc. Looking at countertops, you've obviously got solid wood, stone, HPL post-form tops. Appliances, anything from your equipment to your drawer runners, your hinges, handles, etc. And that's not to say the ovens and the stoves, etc., etc. And then obviously on the plumbing side, you've got your taps and sinks. And we're mainly going to be concentrating on the cabinet side, which is your carcassing, your backing boards, frontals, and kick plates as well. Now, the wood products in the kitchen, which is obviously what we want to concentrate on, you've got 2 different types. You've obviously got your natural product, which is very beautiful to have in a kitchen. Obviously more expensive and obviously not easy to get your hands on as well. And then you've got the board type of products. And just talking more about those, you've got MDF. The pick of the MDF is on the bottom right. And MDF is versatile type of material. It's cost effective and good for use on shelving, storage cabinets, decorative projects. It's got a smooth surface, so a lot of people like to use the MDF for painting, and we'll talk about Duca later. And really, MDF is sawdust, it's chips, etc., that are mulched together and with glue are fused together with pressure and heat to create the board product. The color of MDF can range from tan to dark brown, and this is really dependent on the type of wood it's used, whether the wood is pine or eucalyptus. Pine is a lighter color, eucalyptus is darker. And obviously the process of working with MDF is similar to working with other types of wood or plywood. Particle board is produced by reducing timber to particles in different geometry sizes, generally less than 2 millimeters in dimension. They then formed into a panel and bound together using an adhesive resin. Sounds quite easy to do, but when you go into the plant, it's quite a process and it's a huge investment. Plywood is manufactured using wood sheets made from thin sheets of wood veneer. The ply sheets are generally glued together with adjacent sheets and having their wood grain rotated up to 90 degrees. relative to adjacent layers. It's an engineered wood, and obviously then forms a family between the medium density board and particle board. This is where it gets interesting, the production process for board products. And I'm going to show you another video, and this is a really cool video to see. Especially have a look at how this video is taken from Arauco in South America, and it's you'll see that how they offload the trucks. It's quite incredible. Our plant in White River runs on a similar basis. That we don't do all the types of products that they do, but yeah, enjoy the video. It's really, really cool.
Our process begins with 100% recycled and/or recovered wood chips and shavings. Trucks are lifted and the wood chips are dumped and piled into collecting areas. The wood chips are then loaded onto a conveyor and deposited into storage silos. The wood material then enters the milling area. There, surface and core materials are separated, milled, and refined. A series of shakers shave, condition, refine, and filter the material to ensure that there is no contamination and that the quality of the raw material is ideal for the production of particle board. The material is then separated into core and face material, depending on size, in order to provide a uniform surface that is ideal for lamination, cutting, and other applications. Quality control is performed through this process to ensure optimal particle sizes, humidity, and decontamination. The material is sent to the drying pad. Here, large drying units reduce and balance the moisture. Wood chips with a moisture content of 40 to 50% and shavings with 15 to 20% are dried to 2 to 3% for core material and 6 to 7% moisture content for surface material. Dried material is then sent to the blending area, where the wood material is combined with resin and other additives. Different types of resins are used to produce specialty particle board, such as moisture-resistant, fire-rated, and no added formaldehyde or ultra-low emitting products branded as Vesta. The press. On this platform, material is fed into this massive continuous press, where multiple layers are laid over one another in accordance with product specifications. In a temperature-controlled environment, the wood material is compacted with a combination of pressure and heat. This technology gives us the flexibility to produce a wide variety of grades and sizes to service specific market needs. The configuration allows for the control of variables like particle geometry, resin levels, and board densities with unique precision and consistency. The now formulated board is cut and loaded onto a large rotating rack for cooling, and then master panels are organized by an automatic system called Luki. Samples of formed boards are regularly now taken to our quality assurance lab, where they go through a series of tests to ensure strength, density, and a variety of other key specifications to ensure product standards. To guarantee the best quality products for our customers and safety for our employees, our operations are governed and certified by strict standards such as American National Standards Institute, California Air Resources Board, International Organization for Standardization, and Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series. After being pressed and cooled, the board is ready to be sanded and cut. Boards travel through a series of sanders and are then cut to the desired product dimensions. Some finished boards continue on to our thermally fused laminate line to produce Prism Tfl panels. Here, boards are outfitted with a vast range of solid color, abstract, and wood grain decorative overlays, which are saturated with melamine and other resins to provide adhesion along with strength, durability, UV, and chemical resistance properties in accordance with NEMA standards. These treated decorative sheets are carefully placed on the boards and laminated with high temperature and pressure. Simultaneously, the overlay is thermally bonded to the board, and the texture impressions and gloss levels are infused into the surface with steel plates. Arauco's particle board, along with its other panel substrates, are upgraded in this way and sold as Prism Tfl panels, a sustainable, permanently bonded decorative surface. In the final stage of particle board production, the boards are stacked, packaged, and stored in our warehouse and will now be loaded onto trucks and delivered to our customers for various applications, such as cabinets, furniture, fixtures, lamination, and more. At Arauco, servicing our customers with quality products while respecting the environment and the safety of our employees are always our priorities.
Right, and that's such a cool video because you get to understand not only the process but what goes on around the manufacturing of whether it's particle board or medium density fiberboard. Now, you saw that clip was mainly to do with particle board, and particle board is the actual wood particles that are used. Now, when you're using MDF, we're manufacturing MDF. MDF, as its name says, medium density fiberboard, you take those chips and you almost mulch it into what looks like candy floss. So it's a fiber, and that's the difference between the particle board and MDF. And MDF will have a higher density, therefore it's called the medium density fiberboard than what particle board does. But the MDF and the particle board come from the same product. And in White River, for instance, here in South Africa, our timber mix is mainly eucalyptus. You probably find in this slide 90% eucalyptus, 10% pine. Generally, even 95% of eucalyptus gets used and 5% of pine. When we manufacture MDF, we only use 100% eucalyptus, and and we only do eucalyptus logs. We don't bring in anything else. And the reason why we do that is to make sure that it's the best product possible for the MDF. You don't want too much bark or anything that coming through. You want a very flat surface, a good surface to upgrade with MDF. So typically what you find in the timber mix is you get the eucalyptus logs, about 59%, 5% of the offcuts. The big process here is chips, 24% of chips. And then you get the sawdust and pine sawdust, eucalyptus sawdust, pine chips, 7%, and then a little bit of pine logs as well. So that's the pictures on the right, just give you an idea of what they look like. This is the process for the manufacture of particle board, a flow diagram. What I'm going to do is just get the laser pointer quickly. Starting off in the wood yard, that's where all the different logs and the sawdust and the different, you could almost say the scrap from the timber mills. We're still like scrap merchants. We take scrap and we make something really unique and functional and beautiful out of it. So you get the wood going into the wood yard, and then through to a chipper where we break up all of that and make sure that we get the right geometries coming through from the wood that comes from the wood yard. From there, it goes into a screening process. You then have the silos where the chip is kept. Then the next process is flakers. These are cylindrical, it's a circle that has blades that are around the circle, which cut the chips into the right sizes. So geometry is important for your core and the surface, the chips that you need. They then go into wet silos and then into a dryer. Further down, screening, more dry silos before they go into the glue applicator, where the resin gets, the flakes get covered in the glue or the resin, and then onto the spreading line. You saw the spreading line in the video, through to a continuous press, cut into a standard, a master panel before it gets sanded. From after the sanders and after it gets cut, it will either go into the warehouse or it will get upgraded with melamine. And I'll talk about melamine a little later, before it then obviously gets put into the local or the export markets. Right, so this is just some of the picks. Pick on the left, this is the end of the particle board line. These are called star coolers. You saw it in the video as well. This is where the board gets cured after the process. This is just some of the pick of the plant, and you can see this is before the actual manufacturing of the board. So a lot goes into the manufacturing before it actually goes into the plant itself. This is the control room. Looks like NASA. You'd expect a rocket to be launched. It's a highly intricate piece of equipment that gets used all the way through the plant. An engineer normally takes about a year before he does his solo flight, if you like, before he runs a plant on his own. So yeah, it's a highly engineered process. This is our continuous press on the particle board line. Just as a pic to show you the scale of it as well. And then the forming line. This is obviously where you get the spreaders on the left-hand side, forming the cake, if you like. It's like not exactly baking a cake, but it looks fairly much the same with a thicker material before it goes and gets pressed into your normal standard particle board. MDF is slightly different. As I said, the logs from the eucalyptus go through the chipper, and it's exactly the same with particle board, except what happens is after screening, it goes through a digester. And this is fed by a boiler. So there's a lot of steam that comes through. So you digest those chips that come through and then refine them. And it turns, as I said, it turns into almost like candy floss. That is then glue is then applied into that material, dried, and goes into the storage bunkers before it then goes into the actual manufacturing process, where it is spread and pressed, also continuous press. Master panels are sawed, and then it goes into that curing bay, which is your star coolers. We do the sanding, and then through to either upgrading with melamine paper, or it goes into dispatch, but after upgrading obviously into dispatch and then out to the market. So again, the presses looks similar to the particle board line. It's a little bit shorter, but basically the same type of process. This is the control room, a little bit older than the particle board line. We've had this MDF press for a while. There's the outfeed of the press, and then also the pick of the wood yard where all the flakes and the chips and the sawdust and the logs, etc. are kept. Right, so the two raw substrates are your MDF and your particle board. What we then do is we get melamine paper, which is your decorative paper. This is sourced from suppliers in Europe, and it's typical printed paper that gets, we then decide on obviously what type of decorative wood grains or fantasy designs or even unicolors we want. It gets printed over in Europe, and the melamine resin, it gets bathed in a melamine resin and cured. It then gets shipped all the way from Europe to South Africa, so about a 6-week lead time before we finally press it onto our board. So the paper arrives at White River, it gets kept in a paper store, which is humidified because of the humidity in Nelspruit. It's important to keep it at a decent temperature. And it will then go onto the melamine line where the melamine press is. So you get the lookie, you heard it in the video, that's where the raw board is stored. And that board gets transferred to the line. The board is then, well, the paper gets put onto the bottom side of the board and the top side of the board before it is finally pressed. Goes through an inspection and grading process before it gets transferred to the strapping line and then off to the warehouse. It's quite an amazing process to watch. It's fully automated and really impressive to see it in real life. Just a couple of pics of the melamine line. Just recently, we put in a state-of-the-art. It's one of the only 3 in the world, and the investment there was 200 million rand. So you can imagine that quite a lot goes into a melamine line like this. Okay, related products in the kitchen. I said we refer back to this because what you'll find is you've got different types of products like thermofoil wrap. Another product that is used on MDF, and it's applied to cabinetry. It's a plastic material which is thermofoiled, and again, it's engineered wood core that is used like medium density fiberboard. And the reason why wrap or they use MDF is because MDF is such a smooth surface, so you don't get any show through coming through on the thermofoil wrap. It's got a high quality sheen, and you can also incorporate some metallic elements in its finish. There's also edging. Now, when you're using melamine faced board, you need edging as well to seal the edges, and the edging is improved over a number of years, so it creates a durable and decorative trim. All of our products that we have, as far as our decorative products is concerned, we always match with the right type of edging. We send it to the edging suppliers, they match the decor, and they import the edging. It creates an aesthetic pleasing trim, but it's important that it seals the side of the board for durability. And obviously you get the sizes that you get nowadays is normally 1 to 1.5 mil is used. In the past they used 2 mil edging to 3 mil edging in thickness. But it's improved a heck of a lot since then. High pressure laminates, and this is mainly used for countertops or for kitchen tops. It's produced by saturating multiple layers of craft paper with phenolic resin. A layer of printed decor paper is placed on top of the craft paper before pressing. This is obviously sandwiched and fused together under heat and pressure. This is because of the process. It gives a single rigid laminated sheet, so it's very strong, and also it's waterproof as well. So you find if you're looking at HPLs, you find it in mainly lower income households where they're not using engineered stone or granite or anything like that, and you find it quite a lot in the office sector as well. So an alternative to use if budgets are tight. Right, and then we move on to Duca spray, which is the painting of the MDF, and again MDF because it's got such a good surface, and it's an alternative to thermofoil wrap. Duca Paint is a premium quality air drying paint. It's ideal for all types of metal and wood surfaces. It is preferred because of the color retention. It is preferred by house painters. It's high solid content, excellent water resistance, and self-leveling properties. And the durability sets the house looking fresh and artistic. It is a lot more expensive, but it is popular, and you'll find it in a lot of the high-end kitchens as well. I want to move on to some trends, because it's important that when we talk about what you find in kitchens, you also need to understand the trends that have occurred over a number of years. And we've seen that the wood grains have shifted in popularity. Whilst the volume lies in wood grains, there's other types of products that have become quite trendy in the kitchen space. Now, don't forget, we're not just talking about kitchen environment. When we talk about trends, we talk about trends in the home, and we call it the living space, things that are around us in our homes. And when we talk to our European suppliers, the guys who provide us with paper, their aim is to try and get as close to what's happening in the world around us, in our living space, and match the decorative offer into that space. So trends haven't really changed too much over the last couple of years, but the way that the guys talk about the trends and how they segment the trends are quite interesting. Also realize that trends move and shape, and you can combine trends together. So don't look at the trends as just separate entities. You can combine them for your own creativity, if you like. The first trend we want to talk about, or there's three that have been announced, or the guys are talking about, is the omni-generation, the green living, and the phygital environment. And I'll explain those through the slides. When we talk about the omni-generation, we've seen micro-housing concepts where maximizing space with intelligent designs is needed. And we see the different types of apartments in South Africa at the moment, where apartments are tiny and there's very little space involved. So people are looking at modular solutions, compact and flexible alternatives. And because of these apartments being so small, it's also catering for maybe a younger generation. So you get more dynamic, vibrant aesthetics, energetic colors, and your urban and contemporary designs come through. So these are new builds that are happening, and they're new and chic and happening and quite contemporary. So it's really cool to see. Now, in this, the wood and fantasy designs come in, and I'll show you what we mean by that a little later. But it's modern, urban, carefree woods and fantasies, punctuated with color, a lot of life that comes into this type of environment. The impact on cultural, social, and design environments is there. You can get some neutral concepts. Because the apartments are so small, you don't really want to go with dark colors. So you're looking at timeless and modern type of products and materials and calmer looks as well. So here we look at the light woods with some fantasies with a fresh look. Green living, and as it says, green being back to nature. We're all inspired by nature, and we always want to reconnect with nature. It's inherently in us. So we find comfort and obviously important to detox after a stressful day at work. So the kind of materials that are looked at when we talk about green living is natural. They're always natural looking as possible. And you have the light woods, relaxing look, mindful and luminous as well. And obviously bringing that nature into our daily lives, design has to be adapted to individual environments and style. And you could go with more the elegant and more premium as well, even in the natural state, by combining different things as well. So dark woods, chocolate colors, more of the refined look as well comes into this. Biophilic designs and architecture aims to create strong connections between nature and man-made environments and turn them into healthy and productive habitats. So that's quite interesting, because you can bring in man-made type of things, almost urban things, into a natural environment and combining them. So materials other than wood can be incorporated as long as they convey a link to nature. So whether you want to go with fabrics or stones, or even concretes, remember that you've got to combine that then with more natural tones, etc. So you can get the more rustic look with rustic woods, with structure, like the wabi-sabi, marked by time, which is really nice to use as well. The phygital environment, and obviously it's technology, it's everywhere, and it's changed our lives as COVID with these type of digital and virtual presentations. Premium, serious, more masculine type of materials that are used. It can look quite cold as well, so you need to bring warmth into it whenever you look at that those type of materials. Dark woods, metallic finishes, and elegant fantasy designs can be incorporated in this trend. Consumer electronics work hard to soften their image and blend into interiors as technology becomes more integrated into our homes. So as that picture shows, you've got these metal pieces, but you can combine it with different types of wood grains and hybrid types of designs. You obviously need to seek the balance between the contrasts and the harder materials, using softer materials to create some kind of balance. And a medium tone woods, metallic finishes, light and pastel colors to soften, which is important. You don't want to walk into a living space which is hard and cold. You need the warmth to go with it as well. So just taking those three different types of environments and trends, and you can say, well, I like that aspect of the one trend and combine it with another and combine it with another. And that's the beauty about it. It's combining trends and using them together. It's the same as when you are looking at different types of colors and tones to use in a kitchen environment. In the past, kitchens were one tone, it was just a wood grain. And very little else. Now people are looking at 2-tone, 3-tone, 4-tone, using different types of materials, wood grains, solid colors, fantasy designs, etc. And it's important to mix and match those and get them to work together. So I'm going to introduce you to Innovis, because this is our European brand, and we actually launched the Innovis brand in the second quarter of this year. Into South Africa. Our Novaland brand will then become known as Innovis and migrate to Innovis. And in this, I'm going to show you some of the trends and also the materials that get used in the kitchen. As I said, it's our decorative product that offers versatile solutions and turns those ideas into something that's tangible. It inspires us every day. It's the places that we live and work and where we go. And you'll see our products everywhere, from retail to shop fitting areas to offices in the commercial sector, and very much in the residential sector as well. So here's a video just introducing Innovis as a brand.
Life is what inspires us to create. People are those who make us grow and innovate every day. Places that gain soul, stories that fill spaces, and the moments that make us who we are. The vibrant colors of memories and the textures of projects brought to life. The intensity of every single smile, or the experience behind each new journey. This is the material big dreams are made of. Innovis Decorative Solutions. It's the perfect match with life. Your life. Innovis. Matching life.
Sorry about that. Let me just carry on. I just want to get rid of the pointer. Let's go on to the next slide. Right, so Innovis has got, or the Novaland brand has got, all sorts of different types of materials, from wood grains to unicolors. And just this pic at the bottom of the kitchen that you see, you've got marble designs, and the marble designs are a typical type of fantasy design that comes through. So yeah, please go and have a look at the Novaland brand on our website, arauco.co.za, to find out more about it. For extra reading as well and some inspiration, we've just included some videos that you can go and watch to get more idea of what other products that are in the kitchens, how those products are manufactured, and just to give you some understanding of other products in the kitchen as well. I hope you found this presentation interesting and worthwhile in what you do going forward as well. And I'm just wishing you all the best in the future. thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gordon. Yeah, that's definitely given some inspiration as far as the trends, and finding out how the boards are actually manufactured is incredibly interesting. Karen, I think you've got some questions for Gordon.
Yes, just two at the moment. There might be more pop in my head, but at the moment, just in terms, I was looking at when you were going through all the colors, there was just so much there. And I wanted to ask your opinion for a small compact kitchen. Is there a specific color trend or combination with textures that you would recommend as best used for a small space?
I think it does become very personal, but with a small space, generally we would look at softer colors, lighter colors, not go too dark, because obviously the darker you go, the space just crawls in, and that's why we normally go with lighter colors. But what we found with trends as well is you can do the combination, because grays are very, very popular. So we do find lighter wood grains being mixed with darker grays, or you get the darker grays and the lighter grays being used in combination. So I think it's always that the important thing is tones. What do you want to use as your main tone, and how can then you best you can then bring in a lighter shade, a pastel or something like that. But understand, you don't want it too dark, so don't go with just dark colors, because it will be overpowering. And it's the same with the fantasy designs. You could put fantasy designs in. When we talk fantasies, we talk about stones, marbles, concretes, and then steel type of decors, or steel lookalike decors. You can use them, but don't overpower that space with them. Combine them with something else to make it as easygoing, as more natural as possible.
Thank you. And then the second one I have is that melamine, if I think back years when I was small, 20, 30 years ago, melamine has come such a long way. And it's always been seen as the cheaper finish or the budget finish. But we've seen it in so many big developments coming through. It's pretty much the preferred material when it comes to developers selecting anything. And I just wanted to ask you, if it was looked after and maintained the way it's supposed to, what would you say its lifetime would be in a kitchen setting?
To be honest, Karen, I think people would probably only change a kitchen nowadays once in their lifetime. So and probably by then they would have sold their home. So it is almost the lifespan of how long are you going to live in a home if it's looked after properly. And I think what's important to realize with the melamine product is the importance comes in the edging. The melamine product has come a hell of a long way. The technology used for melamine face boards is incredible, but you need to make sure that you have proper edging, and the edging is the one that gives it away. If you don't, if the manufacturers aren't using quality product as well as a quality process, you can expect the lifespan to deteriorate quicker than what it should. So always they need to concentrate on proper edging to make sure that that surface is sealed off properly. And just commenting on what you've said, I just want to raise a couple of points. First of all, like any fashion, our industry is governed probably by Italy first, coming up with different ideas as far as the trends and the new types of designs, etc., types of materials that are used. And that gets commercialized in Germany or Central Europe before we really see it here in South Africa. But the world is so small, it's not even a year, and you'll see trends and designs from origination through to the final product coming into our country. So it does move very, very quickly. And yes, melamine's come a hell of a long way. 75% of our residential population, people who are buying homes, buy homes that are valued at 750,000 rand to R1 million. And this is definitely where melamine land is. This is MFC, melamine faced board. This is where we find our product mainly. It's our core market. So it does offer that alternative to the high-end kitchens that look and feel to go into these types of apartments or homes. But in saying that, we've also found that over the last few years, when I've been with the company for 6 years now, and when I joined, I think you'd find melamine faced board in homes up to maybe 1.5 million to 2 million. We're now finding melamine faced board in homes valued at 6 million. So definitely things have changed, and the acceptance, and obviously because of technology, the acceptance of melamine, the designs, the structure of the designs, etc., has moved such an extent that it really does look good and adds to the home, as opposed to being a few decades ago, whatever, maybe an eyesore. It's now adds to the look and feel of the home.
And sorry, Steph, sorry, I just thought of another one when we were talking now. So a couple of things we've had or experienced in Durban particularly, in our disputes for kitchens, where consumers phone in and they have a complaint about the kitchen manufacturer or the kitchen in general. And one we've come across quite often is that clients have said they got a new kitchen done and all of a sudden they have wood borer and creepy crawlies coming out their kitchen that wasn't there before. So I wanted to ask you, when melamine is manufactured and it comes through to the home, is it possible for the melamine to be contaminated with wood borer?
No. The process of manufacturing melamine faced board, well, let's start. It's not the melamine, it's the particle board or the MDF. The type of heat that gets put through the board kills off any insects or borers or anything like that. So certainly not. It's not something that would happen in the process. Can it happen after the process, once the cabinetry has been built, etc.? Yes, it can. We've seen instances where wood borer, termites, etc., are eating in. But the problem there is what we found in one of the developments is they built the apartment on top of a termite mound, and the termites came through and then just ate through everything. So it is it's a matter of make sure that, you know, obviously the developers will clean out that area so that you don't build on top of kind of termite nests, or that's what should happen. But no, it's not an area of insects in the process that won't happen.
So it would be a pre-existing environmental condition. Yeah,
it would be an environmental condition as opposed to the board itself. No, it won't be the board itself. Definitely not.
Perfect. Okay. I've also got a few questions. My brain's been popping into action. Gordon, when you were talking earlier about the importance of the board being finished correctly before it's used for longevity, a lot of instances you see the board going into the home and consumers just assuming that you can plod on and wash away and clean away and spill away. I just wanted to ask, what is the effect on MDF and the melamine board if the consumers are not conscious about their water usage around it and they don't clean up spills regularly, and what they should be looking for if there is a large water spillage in the home?
Okay, I mean, wood and water combined is not a good idea. They're not great friends, whether you have hardwood or you have MDF or particle board. So I think it's important that do not use, especially let's talk melamine faced board. Melamine faced board essentially is paper that has got melamine resin in the paper itself to make glue onto and set onto the board itself. And even if you have the best type of edging, you don't want to have freestanding water lying on top of the board, because it will, through time, it will obviously then go through, seep through eventually, and you'll get expansion into the board, whether it's a particle board or MDF. So yeah, no freestanding water. Make sure that you clean up afterwards, etc. And the same with kick plates as well. Make sure that, you know, if you are using kick plates, perhaps use aluminium kick plates or something like that, so that you don't have that problem with water seepage over a period of time. Regardless of how good edging is, you don't want it to lie in water for a long period of time. I'll tell you a story though. We had one of our kitchen manufacturers who was trying out his latest edging machine and edged melamine effect, and he was blown away by how sustainable it was, and there was no effect at all. Don't try this at home. It was just a story I was told, so I can't verify it. But even, yeah, it's a matter of water and wood don't go. So try and keep them separate. But as far as longevity of melamine face board is concerned, you know, with freestanding furniture and just normal countertops and wall units and things like this, it lasts for years. Even in your office sector, the office manufacturers guarantee the product for about 5 years. And we're talking about horizontal melamine face board here that people work on their desks, etc. And hard-wearing office environments. And they're saying at least a 5-year guarantee on that. And so that just says a hell of a lot for melamine face board, or where it's come from.
Okay, and then I also want to ask you, the most common practice in the kitchen industry is to use melamine board for carcassing. Why is it that they opt for carcassing and not other board products like MDF or potentially a composite board or a bamboo board?
Steph, I think it's got to do with budgets. You know, so particle board is mainly used in carcassing because of the engineering of particle board. It's a great product to use. To go and put MDF into carcassing, for me, it's over-engineered. It's more expensive than particle board, and I think it's unnecessary. When you look at what you get from the carcassing and the melamine-faced paper, or the melamine paper that gets put onto the board, you've got so many different designs that have come through at the moment from for instance, our Metro, which is a textile. You put that into carcassing as opposed to white carcassing. It just looks that much better. Using unicolors or wood grains for carcassing as well, and even fantasy designs in wardrobes and things like a white marble like our Bianca. It really looks stunning. So there's so many different things that you can do with carcassing as opposed to just white carcassing, which deteriorates over time. It'll get a little bit dirty in the cabinetry, etc. So I think if you go with any other type of, you can, if that's a preference. If you want something that is stronger, yes, medium density fiberboard is stronger and something like that. But I just don't think it's necessary. I've had my kitchen, I've had PB particle board as carcassing for, I think we changed ours almost 20 years ago, and it's perfect. It hasn't deteriorated at all. So I just don't see the point. Why pay that amount of money for it if you can do it with PB and then just zhuzh it up with something different? It really looks cool.
I agree with you about the changing of colors, because that's something we're starting to, we've seen overseas, but it's only just coming to the South African market now, where people are being a little bit more creative about the color for their carcassing. You know, everybody thinks of the colors outside on the doors and the facing panels, but now we're seeing colors coming into carcassing, which is quite exciting. It
is exciting. I mean, you see it very much even in your high-end kitchens now, where in the past, they wouldn't use particle board in carcassing. They would use other MDF or whatever the case is. They use other type of materials. And they're even going the particle board route, and they're using these types of materials, you know, the different types of decors to just make it different, you know. And even if they've got high-end frontals and then use the fantasy designs inside or the unicolors that we have, etc. It's just different ways of doing things, and it's really, really nice to see.
I think that's all the questions I had. Karen, did you have any more? Or are you done?
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Gordon, thanks so much for taking your time out of your day to come and and educate us a little bit more about the board products and about the trends we're seeing in them. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we're going to see some fun, exciting stuff coming out when you have your launch later this year.
Fantastic. Thanks, Steph, Karen. And again, if there's any further questions, just get a hold of us and we'll try and help where we can.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks very much, ladies. Thanks, everybody.